Welcome back to another episode of NCBA's Coffee Break. I'm your host, Nathan Willner, and today we're diving into a conversation with someone whose work has become a vital complement to what we do here at NCBA. Joining me is Mike Gibb, a well-known figure in the creditors' rights and compliance space and the driving force behind the upcoming Compliance Con conference that we're going to hear more about. Mike's journey into the industry is as insightful as the content he curates daily. He's built a platform that informs professionals across the credit and collections landscape, one that I use myself. So grab your cup of coffee, settle in, and let's get into it. Mike, welcome.
Thanks, Nathan. I'm very happy to be here. Really appreciate the opportunity and the invitation.
Yeah, so you've become a well-known voice in the debt collection, creditors' rights, and compliance space. Can you share with our audience, how you first got involved in this industry and, what drew you to it? Like, how'd you get here?
Sure, absolutely. So I think the interesting sort of teaser to get people's attention is that I have never attempted to collect a debt in my life. I have never stepped foot in a collection agency, never done anything like that before. So kind of built my career sort of. I've come at this from the journalism side. So I spent a lot of time, the last 25 years or so, covering financial services journalism and started out in the mortgage space, but also have spent time, worked in auto finance and collections and, have dedicated solely to the collection space for the last 10 years. So
So,
sorry to give you a little bit more background. So I came out of college with a journalism degree and spent a few years as a sports writer and then moved to New York City, and that's where I was, gave up sports writing and entered financial services, sort of, banking and finance topics for journalism. And sports writing was fun. Don't get me wrong. I loved what I did when I was doing it. It was great. But what I've really enjoyed in the time that I've spent in financial services is the opportunity to really engage the people I'm talking to on a regular basis. They're good at what they do because they're smart, not necessarily because they're gifted athletically, which is a great thing. But I enjoy kind of having those conversations where I just like to learn. One of my wife's many nicknames for me is "But Why." I just love asking questions. I love kind of learning about people and about things. And I've just found that I never thought I would like writing about business. I got the job, and when I took it, I thought it would just be something until I can find another sports writing gig. And I've never looked back. I've loved everything I've done in financial services and especially collections. What I have found working in collections is the camaraderie, the willingness to help, that the willingness to share that everybody has just is phenomenal to me, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
yeah, it's almost a little surprising, right, when you find out how close the professionals in this industry are with one another, and
For
how
sure.
much and it really becomes this kind of large family. So, I guess that would make an interesting Thanksgiving dinner. But anyway, let's talk about Compliance Con. I know you recently launched that. Can you tell us what it is, what inspired it, how's it's going to help professionals in our field? I know you're excited about it, so tell me
Yeah,
about
sure.
it.
Thanks. So compliance is such a moving target. As someone who I'm sure you will agree, there's just so much always going on with respect to compliance between the states, the federal government. You've got your regulators, you've got laws, you've got case law being created every day. It just what you need to stay on top of the list just grows longer. It's something that never gets shorter, and so I started Compliance Con, or I started this compliance conference last year as a means of bringing people together in an effort just to sort of, help make sure everybody's on the same page, help give them a spot where they could come and learn and make sure that, they're not falling too far behind where that target is. And just to get some best practices, how other people are addressing certain situations. We talked about how willing to help everybody is, and how willing to share everybody in this industry is, and that's true on the compliance side too. Nobody wants to see anybody else make a mistake or get in trouble, and there's always a willingness to share best ideas and what they've worked and what they've learned, and what's worked and what they've learned. And so the idea behind Compliance Con is just to bring anybody in credit and collections together who's interested in compliance as a topic and doing things the right way, but also to the point where it's not restricting them from trying to grow their business.
Yeah, and I think that that's something that maybe the general public doesn't even realize of how much work is done by people in this industry, whether it be an agency or a debt buyer or a law firm, to be compliant, and the amount of work that goes into it and the sincerity. I think people are a little surprised when they find out how much time is spent on making sure we do things right, and and that kind of is a great segue to your general daily accounts recovery work that everyone has gotten kind of spoiled and used to, and it's part of everyone's day. How do you see that complementing the advocacy and the professional development that we do over here at the National Creditors Bar?
So I'm a firm believer in a rising tide lifts all boats. And what I am trying to do with accounts recovery is put out as much information as I can in whatever format people want to consume it that helps inform and educate them. My goal is to give people the information that they need to run their businesses more effectively, more efficiently, more compliantly. So, I view myself very much, as someone who tries to help everybody in the industry, including, NCBA and its members. And we've had a great relationship over the years. You've been a participant on a number of webinars. It's been a very positive relationship that I've had with NCBA and some of the other associations. And all I'm trying to do is supplement the great work that the associations are doing and make sure that anybody who wants to kind of stay on top of what's going on and where things are moving, that they're able to do so.
Yeah, and I love coming on your show. It's just a conversation, and I think that
Yeah.
many times other webinars, if they're for CLE, or they're a lot more formal, but sometimes just having a quick dialogue about something, kind of, you feel you're not alone. It's like, I'm not the only one that can't figure this out. Everybody's got the same problem, and maybe together we can move forward.
Exactly. Doing as many of them as I do, I try to make them as low hassle as possible for the panelists. So that's why I started with the panel discussion format, but why I've stuck with it for as long as I have is I just find that the casualness of the conversation to me seems to yield the best quality information for the people who are watching the information. I just like to bring people together and let them have a conversation because I think, to your point, what the people who in the audience are going through is the same thing as the people on the panel are going through. And, I think there is a sense of, oh, that's how they're doing it. I can do that, or I'm not alone, as you said, which is great. So that's why I like that format and why I think it's a great format for this industry.
Yeah, so we're getting close to the end of our cup of coffee, so to speak. And so just one more time, tell our listeners, when is Compliance Con? Where is it? And if they want more information, where do they go?
Thank you for asking. I should have mentioned that the first time I talked about Compliance Con. Just goes to show what a great, promoter and business person I am. Compliance Con is in Nashville, September 29th to October 1st. Compliance-con.com is the website, compliance-con.com. You can check out the list of speakers, the agenda. Nathan's going to be there. Looking forward to having him there again, talking about what's going on at the state level and some of the laws and regulations that you need to be on top of. And you're one of, I think right now we've got about 45 confirmed speakers, and we've got a few more to add. So you can check out all of that information at compliance-con.com.
Yeah, so thanks, Mike, and we'll have you back again. We'll talk a little bit more, maybe after the conference, see how it went, and what some of the takeaways were. But to our listeners, thanks for joining us on NCBA's Coffee Break. And Mike, we'll see you soon. And I'm excited for Nashville. So thanks,
Excellent.
everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks, Nathan. Have a great day, everyone. Really appreciate the opportunity.